still blanketed in snow, but even that didn't slow them down. Out of nowhere, a black blur tackled Shagan to the ground. Hadyn didn't make a sound as she watched Kara launch herself at whoever or whatever had attacked them. But more came. The fight was over quickly, and her heart turning to lead and dropping to the soles of her feet, horror filled her at the sight of her wonderful, loving parents on their knees, hands bound. They'd taken her in the day dragon shifters had killed her parents along with their son. They'd raised her, loved her, nurtured her, and taught her to survive in a world most humans had no idea existed. One with the most incredible creatures. A world deadly to frail humans like her.
Tinine,
Shagan snarled.
I should have known the Olaz enforcers would be the ones to come for us.
Then he turned his head to glare at another man.
And Roan, of course.
He didn't identify the other three, but he didn't need to. That had been for her, so she knew exactly who'd come for them. Rocking slightly, arms wrapped around her stomach, she waited for the final killing blow to come. After all, Shagan and Kara were rogue dragon shifters. They'd abandoned their loyalty to their king and clan and gone off on their own. Rogues were supposed to be killed when captured, an instant death sentence. Shagan and Kara had survived without capture more than 30 years this way only by being smart. Their son had gotten himself caught because he'd tangled with a bear shifter by sheer chance, one who'd reported his presence to the local dragon enforcers. He'd been staying at her human parents' house the night they'd come for him, which is why Shagan and Kara hadn't been killed that night too. But Shagan had always said they would be caught eventually. The first flash of memory came softly. An image, combat boots a foot from her face as she hid under her bed. Oh gods, not now. She squeezed her eyes shut, trying to hold the torrent at bay. Because she knew what came next. More memories followed by an almighty panic attack, only ever triggered by hiding. Even a game of hide-and-seek for fun used to bring these on. Years of counseling had only slowed the frequency, but once they started... Maybe Shagan had hoped for one to come on, so she wouldn't have to see. Her lungs tightened more as, instead of the images on the screens, all she could see was the night she'd lost her family. Her heart rate shot up, her breathing turning forced and rapid, the sound of it almost like scraping in her ears. She reached out for the image of her dragon parents on the screen, trying so hard not to give in to this. But the black dots consuming her vision coalesced, and darkness took her under. Chapter 1. It might be early summer in Alaska, where Hadyn had lived last, but as far as the Andes Mountains in the southern hemisphere were concerned, winter was just starting her reign. And I'm stuck on the side of a mountain like a chump. Hadyn banked that thought for later, needing every ounce of her focus. Aconcagua happened to be the tallest mountain in South America, of course, because that was her kind of luck. She had made sure to wear her high-altitude cold-weather clothing for this trek. Climbing mountains almost all her life, a skill developed at the insistence of her adoptive parents, she was well aware of the risk she'd taken by attempting this now. Winter on this mountain, with its haphazard weather, plummeting temperatures, and tearing winds, was definitely the off-season when the weather wasn't worth the risk. But she didn't have time to wait. Her dragon father had told her to come here if she needed help. Did you know what I'd have to do to get up this ice-covered rock, Dad? Hadyn was in full confidence of her abilities, but skill alone didn't keep you alive in a place like this. She hung off the side of the mountain, the steel claws of her crampons finding purchase in the ice and snow. Dug in nice and tight, she leaned back against her harness and the system of ropes and carabiners she'd secured in the rock face. She shook out her arms to regain feeling as she mapped out her route in her head. 4 days she'd been up here with not a sign of whom or what she was searching for. Alone. A gust of wind threatened to pick her right up off the side of the mountain, so she hunkered in close to the rock, waiting it out.